You're welcome, everybody. This is 7.3, just example problems on your homework. So for number 4, it says to find the double angle formulas, or what the double angle is equal to of sine, cosine, and tangent. And number 4, it tells us that the tangent of x is -4/3 and x is in quadrant 2. So if x is in quadrant 2, I'm going to draw it out. And that's your first step. Okay, to draw it out. So if you draw out a random triangle in quadrant 2, and your tangent, which is y over x, is that, right? And your x is negative because you're in quadrant 2. And then figuring out your r using the Pythagorean theorem or using the 3, 4, 5 triangle, you know that that's 5. If you're going to go using the Pythagorean theorem, it's a squared plus b squared equals c squared. So you don't know what that side is, right? So that's -3 squared plus 4 squared equals c squared. That's 9 plus 16 equals c squared. So c squared equals 25. If you square root both sides, c is 5. Okay, so both ways you get that that side is 5. So once you get that, we want the sine double angle, cosine double angle, and the tangent double angle, right? So if you have your formulas handy for double angle, you know, sine double angle for sine is 2 sine x times cosine x. You know that the cosine, there's 3 of them. So I'm just going to use the, actually, you know what? I'm going to use that first one. And I'll tell you the reason why I use the first one instead of the second or third one. And the tangent double angle is 2 tangent of x over 1 minus tangent squared of x. Right? I'm going to give a little more room for each. So if we have that, going back to the triangle that I drew, if we have that triangle, we know sine of x is going to equal y over r, so 4/5, and the cosine value is -3/5, right? Or x over r. So all we do here, class, is we just plug it in. So it's going to be 2 sine of x is 4/5. Cosine of x is -3/5. And then we just do the math, right? So this would be 2 times 4 times -3 over 1 times 5 times 5. That would be -24/25. That's it. Okay. So we just plug it in and we see what we get. Okay, so the double angle for cosine is cosine squared minus sine squared. So the cosine. The reason why I like to use the first one instead of the second or third one is because I know I'm going to be squaring both of them. So it comes out after I square it, my denominator stays the same. If I use the second one or the third one, I would have to convert the 1 into a common denominator. Okay, so just to avoid that simple math, I'm just going to use first one here. Okay, and 9 minus 16, that would be negative 7 over 25. Okay. Now, here's a cool trick. Tangent of 2x is that complicated formula, right? 2 tangent of x divided by 1 minus tangent squared of x. Also, tangent of 2x is also sine of 2x over cosine of 2x, right? Sine over cosine is tangent. And since I already solved for sine of 2x and cosine of 2x, I could just plug in what I have. Negative 24 over 25, negative 7 over 25. Keep, change, flip it. That's negative 24 over 25. Keep, change, and flip. That would be negative 24 over 7. Okay, because these guys would just cancel out. Okay, so I'm just left with negative 24 over 7, and that is number 4. Okay. Number 6, we're going to do the same thing, but we have a different triangle. Cosecant of x equals 4. So cosecant is positive, tangent is negative, right? Because it's less than 0. So if tangent is less than 0, just taking this one. What quadrant am I in? I am in second quadrant or fourth quadrant. If the cosecant is positive, that means that sine is positive. I am in my second quadrant again. So I'm going to draw out that random triangle. Cosecant is positive, so then that would be 4. That would be 1. Okay. Cosecant is r over y. Okay. So if that's the case, then 4 squared equals 1 squared plus, I'm going to label that as x squared. So then we have 16 minus equals 1 plus x squared. So x squared is going to equal 16 minus 1, which is 15. X is equal to the square root of 15. So that is the square root of 15, but that's negative because I'm in my second quadrant, right? So from here, get my sine of x is equal to 1 over 4. Cosine of x is equal to negative 15 over 4, right? So the double angle formula, again, is 2 sine times cosine, which is 2 sine of x is 1 over 4. Cosine of x is negative square root of 15 over 4. So if I multiply it across, that should be 2 times 1 times negative square root of 15 over 1 times 4 times 4. So then my answer would be negative 2 square root of 15 over 16. Okay. And then my cosine double angle is cosine squared minus sine squared. So then cosine would be negative square root of 15 over, let's put the square root here, over 4 squared minus 1 over 4 squared. This would be 15 over 16 minus 1 over 16, which would get me 14 over 16. Okay. I'm tempted to reduce that, and you can reduce it down to 7 over 8. Okay. Yeah, just reduce it. Why I was kind of hesitant is because I was already thinking of tangent. Tangent is sine over cosine, which we would get negative 2 square root of 15 over 16 divided by, I'm going to use 14 over 16. Okay, I'll show you guys why I use that. It is because if I keep flip this, right? 16s would just cancel out. If this would just cancel out with that. So then I would have negative 2 square root of 15 over 14, which would get me negative square root of 15 over 7. And that's your answer. Okay. I believe you guys can do this one too, but I'll set you guys up and then you guys can do the math. Cosine is positive, where tangent is negative. So if cosine is positive, it's either my first or my fourth. Tangent is negative. It needs to be my fourth. All right. So tangent, remember, is y over x. So that's 1 and that's 3, but that's negative 1 because I'm in my fourth quadrant. So if I do the math, I need to do Pythagorean theorem. I get 9 plus 1, that's square root of 10. Right? Because 3 squared plus 1 squared equals c squared. That's 9 plus 1 equals c squared. So that's 10 equals c squared. So c is the square root of 10. Okay, and then from here, you can figure out sine, cosine, tangent of the double angle. All right. Find the exact value of tangent of 15 degrees. Now remember, 15 degrees is not one that we know right off the bat. So we're going to use the double angle and or the half angle formula to figure this out. Well, tangent is 30 divided by 2, right? 15 degrees equals 30 degrees divided by 2. So I'm going to use that. So the tangent of 30 degrees will be here, right? If that's 30, that's 1 square root of 3 and 2. Okay. And if I use the tangent value of that, that would be 1 minus cosine of u over sine of u. Okay. So cosine of 30 is square root of 3 over 2 over sine of 30 is 1/2. Okay, so in my numerator, this guy right there is going to equal 2 over 2 minus square root of 3 over 2, which would be 2 square root of 2 minus square root of 3 over 2. Okay. 2 over 2 equals 1, so I just need a common denominator. So if I replace that, the half angle formula, right, of 30 divided by 2, which is 15, would be 2 minus square root of 3 over 2 over 1/2. Keep change, flip it. And then these two guys will cancel and it's over 1. So the tangent of 15 degrees would equal 2 minus square root of 3. Okay. All right. So the next one is this. This is pretty simple to kind of guess that this is a half angle formula. Okay, so 112.5. It's easy to guess that we're going to use the half angle formula because of the 0.5. So this would be 225 divided by 2, right? 225 divided by 2 equals 112.5. So cosine of 225 divided by 2 equals plus or minus the square root of 1 plus cosine of 225 divided by 2. What is the cosine of 225? Well, here I'm going to graph it. That's the 45-degree angle in my third quadrant. That'll be a 45. So it's 1 square root of 2. Cosine is going to be 1 over square root of 2. Negative and negative, so that's negative. Negative square root of 2 over 2. Okay. So plugging this value inside my thing, it will be plus or minus square root of 1 plus negative square root of 2 over 2 over 2. Now, just looking at this and getting my common denominator, this would be 1 is 2 over 2, right? So it'll be 2 minus square root of 2 over 2 over 2. Okay. So simplifying that, keep change, flip it. Two minus square root of 2 over 2 times 1/2. Right, keep change, flip. This would be 2 minus square root of 2 over 4. So if I put it back into my square root, it will be 2 minus square root of 2 over 4, which is plus or minus square root of 2 minus square root of 2 all over 2. The square root of 4 is 2. So here, is it plus or minus? So the cosine of 112.5 equals square root of 2 minus square root of 2 over 2. Well, I still don't know if it's plus or minus yet, right? That if we graph 112.5, going back up to this graph here, right? 112.5 is actually in my second quadrant, correct? where cosine here is negative. So if cosine in my second quadrant is negative, I know that this guy has to be. All right. Find the exact value of this. If you have a difficult time with radians, go ahead and put it into degrees. So you multiply 180. And if you do that math, this would be 202.5. Again, I know that it's going to be the half angle formula because the 0.5. So if I multiply 202.5 by 2, I get 405. Okay. So this would be the sine of 405 divided by 2. Hold on. I don't know what 405 is. Do you? That is actually 405 is actually the 45-degree angle here. See what I did? I'll show it to you guys. This is 360. All right. Let me show it to you like this. This is 360 plus another 45. That's 405. Okay. Again, 360 plus 45 equals 405. So we need this. The formula would be plus or minus the square root of 1 minus cosine of 405 divided by 2. We need the cosine value, and that's 1, that's 1, that's right, 2. The cosine of this equals square root of 2 over 2. So this would be plus or minus the square root of 1 minus square root of 2 over 2 over 2. Getting my common denominator again of 1 plus square root of 2 over 2 is 2 minus, not plus, square root of 2 over 2, right? Because 1 equals 2 over 2. Okay. So if we have that, then to plug it back in, we have the square root of 2 minus square root of 2 over 2 all over 2. Keep, change, flip it. If you do that, right, if you keep, change, flip, you're going to get 2 minus square root of 2 over 4. Okay, so your answer would be plus or minus square root of 2 minus square root of 2 all over 2. Now, do you know if it's a plus or a minus? That's the question. Right? We have to figure out if it's a plus or a minus. Well, 202 degrees, that is in my third quadrant, where 202 would be, or sine would be negative, right? Because I'm trying to get the sine of 202.5 degrees. Sine in my third quadrant is negative, so I just keep the negative version of my answer. And that's your solution. All right. And this is the last one. We're just going to simplify this. Okay, so you're going to look at it. Look at all of your you can look at this and look at your half angle and double angle formulas. And what does this look like? Well, there's a bunch of tangents. So it must be the double angle formula for tangent, right? What I'm looking at is this formula here. Tangent of 2x equals 2 tangent of x over 1 minus tangent squared of x. Okay? So for part A, we're just simplifying. So if we're just simplifying for part A, 2, this 2 becomes with this 2, this tangent is this tangent. 7 degrees is x. 1 is with 1, minus is with minus. Tangent squared of 7 is tangent squared of x. So I know my x value is 7. So that would be the tangent of 2 times 7, which is the tangent of 14. That's it. Here we're just simplifying. All right. So in this case, right, for part B, okay, we have, let's do this again. 2 tangent, 7 theta is x. 1, 1, minus, minus. Tangent squared of x, tangent squared of 7 theta. So my x value is 7 theta. So this would be the tangent of 2 times 7 theta, which is the tangent of 14 theta. And that's your answer. Okay, we're just simplifying. We're not trying to get the exact value that we did before. All right. That's the lesson for today, and hopefully that'll help you with your homework. Thank you, guys.